The courtroom fell into a heavy silence, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. All eyes turned toward the entrance as Elon Musk, the enigmatic billionaire behind Tesla, SpaceX, and X, stepped inside. Dressed in a simple black suit, his piercing gaze and subtle smirk hinted that today would be anything but ordinary. Musk was facing a lawsuit from a major rival corporation, accusing SpaceX of misappropriating trade secrets to dominate the aerospace industry. Media personnel swarmed, cameras locked onto him, while a crowd outside chanted his name. Before we dive into the unfolding drama, let us know where you're watching from and be sure to subscribe so you never miss the latest updates. Judge Evelyn Hart entered, her presence commanding in a black robe. A middle-aged woman with an imposing demeanor, she was the subject of numerous rumors, whispers of corruption, alleging she had accepted bribes from Musk's competitors to ensure his downfall. The bailiff's voice echoed through the courtroom. All rise for the judge. The entire room stood, except Musk. He remained seated, fingers tapping lightly on the table, seemingly calculating his next move. A hush fell over the courtroom. Judge Hart's sharp gaze fell upon him. "Mr. Musk, please stand," she ordered, her voice firm as steel. Musk slowly lifted his head, locking eyes with her before responding with a measured tone. "I don't stand for someone who sold out the future." His words detonated like an explosion in the courtroom. Gasps rippled through the crowd, whispers spread like wildfire, and reporters scrambled to capture every word. Judge Hart's expression darkened as she slammed her gavel, the sound echoing through the chamber. Musk, however, remained unfazed, his smirk unwavering. Online, the moment ignited a frenzy, with the hashtag Musk vs the system dominating social media. Judge Hart pounded her gavel again, her voice cutting through the commotion. "Mr. Musk, I demand that you stand immediately." Her tone remained authoritative, but her grip on the gavel tightened, her hands trembling slightly, an unintentional betrayal of the tension mounting beneath her composed exterior. The cameras zoomed in, capturing the confrontation from every angle. The silence in the room was deafening, punctuated only by the furious clicking of reporters typing their updates. Musk finally raised his head, meeting the judge's glare. Tilting it slightly, he studied her as if assessing an unworthy adversary before speaking, his deep voice reverberating through the room. "You want me to stand? Fine. But I won't stand for a puppet of a broken system. Who paid you to sit there? My rivals? The ones afraid SpaceX will surpass them, or was it both?" His words struck like a dagger, slicing through the judge's authority. The courtroom erupted once more. Shouts, murmurs, and scattered jeers filled the air. Some spectators clapped, while others exchanged stunned glances, taken aback by Musk's audacity. Judge Evelyn Hart slammed her gavel down with force, the impact rattling her desk. "Enough!" she commanded, her face flushed with anger. "Mr. Musk, you are blatantly disrespecting this court, and I will not allow it. Explain yourself." "Now, or I will hold you accountable." Her eyes burned with authority, yet behind her stern expression, a flicker of unease betrayed her. The corruption rumors surrounding her weren't new, but Musk had just thrown them into the spotlight for the world to dissect. She knew the cameras were rolling, that every word he uttered was already spreading like wildfire online. Musk responded with a smirk, his signature half-smile that only seemed to enrage her further. Rising from his seat, he did so not in submission but as a deliberate statement. Brushing a hand across his suit jacket as if flicking away dust, he spoke, his voice steady yet defiant. "I don't need to explain myself to someone who's traded integrity for power," he said. "If you want consequences, go ahead, I'm ready." The calm confidence in his tone carried an undeniable weight. The courtroom erupted again, some cheering his name, while reporters scrambled to capture every word, their fingers flying across keyboards. Judge Hart's grip on her gavel tightened, her knuckles turning white. She couldn't afford to let Musk seize control, not in front of the media, not on such a public stage. "Mr. Musk," she declared, her voice cold and deliberate, "I find you in contempt of court. Security, remove him immediately. Two uniformed officers stepped forward, their posture tense. Yet even they hesitated, aware of the weight of the situation. The crowd erupted in outrage, some shouting in protest, others raising their phones to capture every moment. Cries of, "This is unjust," and "Let him speak," echoed through the room. Musk did not resist. He allowed the officers to take hold of his arms, but just before they led him away, he turned back toward Evelyn, his voice ringing out across the chamber. "You think that chair protects you? The truth will find you, Judge Hart, and I'll be the one to expose it." His words hung in the air like a challenge, resonating through the room even as the doors shut behind him. The courtroom exploded once more, some applauding, others protesting. Reporters scrambled to file breaking news, cameras zooming in on Evelyn's face as her complexion shifted from crimson to pale. But Musk wasn't done yet. As Musk was escorted down the hall, he swiftly pulled his phone from his pocket. The security team, caught off guard, failed to react in time. With a few quick taps, he posted to X. "Judge Evelyn Hart is just another pawn in the system. The truth is out there. We don't bow to corruption." He hit send just as an officer snatched the phone away, but it was too late. Within seconds, the post went viral. The hashtag Musk the system surged to the top, flooded with thousands of comments. "Elon's right. The system is rigged. Who dares challenge Musk?" "Expose the truth about Evelyn Hart." Back in the courtroom, Judge Hart sank into her chair, struggling to compose herself. She realized her mistake. Removing Musk hadn't silenced him. Instead, it had ignited a firestorm. Leaning toward her clerk, she whispered, "Get my legal team now." Her voice, usually firm, wavered slightly. She needed a strategy, fast, before Musk turned this trial into her downfall. Meanwhile, outside the courthouse, the crowd swelled. Musk's supporters gathered, phones raised, broadcasting live. Chants of his name echoed as images of him being escorted away spread across social media. His post had been shared tens of thousands of times, with calls to investigate Evelyn Hart's past gaining momentum. Musk might have been removed from the courtroom, but he had already won the battle of public perception. Inside a holding cell, Musk sat with his hands still restrained, his expression unbothered. His eyes gleamed with amusement. "They have no idea what they've just triggered," he muttered under his breath. The door clanged shut behind him, the metallic sound reverberating through the small space. Two officers stood guard, their grips tightening around their batons. As if expecting the unexpected, Musk, however, remained composed. He leaned back against the cold wall, one leg crossed over the other, exuding the same confidence as if he were in a SpaceX boardroom. His gaze swept over the dimly lit room, lingering briefly before a smirk played on his lips. "They really think this will contain me?" he murmured, his voice low but certain. His phone was gone, but he no longer needed it. The spark had been lit, and the storm was already brewing. Meanwhile, in the judge's chambers, Evelyn Hart locked the door and drew the blinds, shutting out prying eyes. She paced the room, her heels clicking against the wooden floor, her composed exterior now cracking. Her lips pressed into a thin line as she gripped her phone so tightly, her knuckles turned white. Across from her sat a middle-aged man in a sharp gray suit, his slicked-back hair immaculate. Victor Grayson, senior attorney, representing powerful interests, perhaps Musk's rivals like Blue Origin, or even government forces seeking to bring him down. Seated with one leg crossed, his gaze was razor-sharp. "Evelyn, what have you done?" His voice was calm yet cutting. Forcing Musk out of the courtroom didn't weaken him, it made him stronger. "Have you checked X? The world is calling you corrupt." Victor tossed a tablet onto the desk, its screen, displaying Musk's viral post, now shared tens of thousands of times. Evelyn glanced at it, her face turning even paler. She slammed her hand against the desk. "I couldn't let him stand there and humiliate me in front of everyone. He called me a puppet, on camera." Victor smirked slightly, his expression cold. "And by losing your temper, you just proved him right. We need to control this situation, not make it worse." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Musk isn't just a billionaire. He has supporters, resources, and people willing to dig up anything they can find. If we don't act fast, he'll uncover something damaging. Or worse, create a narrative that destroys you. Evelyn took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. So what do we do? I can't let this trial continue with him stirring up chaos. Victor tilted his head slightly, his eyes sharp with calculation. We speed things up. I've secured a witness, an ex-SpaceX engineer, who's willing to testify that Musk threatened him to cover up launch failures. And I have emails linking Musk to compliance violations, proving he ignored them. Evelyn frowned, her voice unsteady. Forged emails? What if they're exposed? Victor scoffed. They won't be. I've handled situations like this before. The key is shaping public opinion before Musk gets a chance to fight back. Keep him locked up as long as possible. I'll handle the rest. Evelyn hesitated before nodding slowly. She knew she was playing a dangerous game, but there was no turning back. Now, meanwhile, inside the holding cell, Musk wasn't sitting idly. He discreetly retrieved a sleek pen from his suit pocket, far more than just an ordinary pen. Designed by SpaceX engineers, it functioned as a covert communication device. He pressed a concealed button and whispered, "Sarah, are you there? The B." World was watching. Was Elon Musk fighting a corrupt system? Or was this just another one of his high-profile maneuvers? Opinions were divided, but one thing was certain. He had turned the trial into a global spectacle. In a makeshift office, near the courthouse, Musk's legal team worked frantically. At the center stood Sarah Clean, a sharp-minded lawyer from Tesla's early days. Holding a tablet, her expression was tense. Around her, 4 other attorneys exchanged uneasy glances. "We're walking a fine line," Sarah said, her voice steady but uncertain. "Musk wants us to fight back, spread rumors, push the narrative, but without solid legal proof, the court won't hesitate to dismiss us." She swiped across the tablet, revealing leaked emails about Evelyn Hart. The messages hinted at shady transactions, but the sources were unverifiable. An older attorney, Tom Grayson, no relation to Victor, tapped his fingers on the table. "Get that he's brilliant, Sarah, but this isn't Twitter, it's a courtroom. We can't depend on public opinion and speculation. We need hard evidence, something undeniable." Sarah's gaze locked onto Tom. "You don't understand Musk. He doesn't have to win in court, he just has to win out there." She gestured toward the window, where the crowd outside chanted Musk's name, their voices amplified by megaphones. "But I agree. We need something concrete." She glanced at her tablet again. "I've got SpaceX engineers digging into Hart's financial records." A younger lawyer, Jacquet, leaned in. "I just got an update from the hackers. They uncovered an old conversation between Hart and Victor Grayson. It's encrypted, but they're working on decoding it." Sarah's expression sharpened. "If Victor's involved, we might be able to connect him to Blue Origin or even the government." She exhaled, a determined look in her eyes. Musk was right. We just need to move fast. Evelyn Hart wasn't alone in this battle. She quickly sent a message to her tech team. "Crack that chat as a priority. I need results in 24 hours." Meanwhile, outside the courthouse, the chaos intensified. Musk's supporters had set up a massive screen in the crowd, looping a clip of his courtroom exit where he declared, "The truth will find you, Evelyn Hart." The moment it ended, cheers erupted. A SpaceX engineer took the microphone. "I worked under Musk for 5 years. He's not just a CEO, he fights for us. Don't let the system crush our future." The crowd responded with thunderous applause, drowning out the noise of traffic. Reporters scrambled through the scene, pushing for interviews, their cameras capturing the energy and devotion on the supporters' faces. Inside his holding cell, Musk remained composed. With no phone or communication device, his pen confiscated by security, he relied solely on his instincts. He knew his team was working, and the crowd outside was standing for him. Leaning back against the cold wall, he closed his eyes, appearing calm, but his mind was racing. "They think I'm trapped," he muttered, a smirk forming. "I was on Mars before they learned to crawl." He tapped his fingers against his thigh, mentally counting down to his next move. Back at the legal office, Sarah's phone buzzed with an urgent call from SpaceX's tech team. She put it on speaker. "Sarah, we found something, not the chat, but a bank transfer. Evelyn Hart received $2 million from an offshore account 6 months ago. It's linked to a shell company, and we're tracing if it connects to Blue Origin." Her pulse quickened. "Perfect. Send me verified copies immediately. I need them for court." She turned to her team, her voice sharp and decisive. "We've got ammunition. Now we aim it correctly." Outside, a small group of protesters opposing Musk had gathered, holding "Musk is a fraud" signs and chanting for justice. But their voices were quickly drowned out by the overwhelming support for Musk. A truck rolled in, its back doors opening, to reveal massive speakers. The crowd erupted as they blasted an old interview clip of Musk's voice. "I don't fear failure. I fear a world that won't try." The statement sent a wave of energy through his supporters, fueling their passion. Reporters captured every moment, the division, the outrage, and the unwavering loyalty from both sides. Standing by the window, Sarah watched the sea of people, their live streams lighting up the night. She turned back, her mind set on the next step. Sarah's voice was low but resolute as she addressed the team. "Musk isn't wrong. He's turned this into a war outside. But if we want to win in court, we have to move faster than Hart." She held up her tablet, her eyes scanning the newly received bank transaction. "This is just the beginning. If we can link Victor Grayson to this, Hart's entire case will collapse." Jake nodded, determination in his voice. "I'll contact the hackers and push them to crack that chat faster. We need a double hit, both the bank records and the conversation." Meanwhile, inside the holding cell, a security officer stepped in, eyeing Musk with suspicion. "What's so funny?" he asked, noticing the smirk playing on Musk's lips. Musk lifted his head, his eyes sharp and calculating. "Just thinking about them running in circles while I stay 3 steps ahead." The guard shook his head, unconvinced, just as the heavy courtroom doors swung open with a metallic clang. 2 security officers flanked Musk, escorting him inside. For a brief moment, the spectators sat in stunned silence. Then, a wave of hushed murmurs swept through the room. Musk walked in with his usual composed demeanor, his black suit slightly creased from hours in custody, yet his piercing gaze and faint smirk gave him the air of a man stepping out of a high-stakes SpaceX meeting rather than a jail cell. Cameras locked onto him from every angle, flashes igniting like a lightning storm. Outside, the chants of "Elon, Elon" roared through the glass, drowning out Evelyn Hart's weak attempts to restore order with her gavel. Sitting in the judge's chair, Evelyn's expression was stiff, her grip on the gavel tightening as if she might break it in two. She knew she had lost control of the courtroom. The momentum had shifted the moment Musk was taken into custody. She cleared her throat, forcing her voice into a tone of authority. "Mr. Musk, you were detained for contempt of court. I trust you've learned your lesson and will abide by the rules moving forward." Her words were sharp, but the fleeting glance she cast toward the crowd and the cameras betrayed her unease. Evelyn knew she couldn't let Musk keep controlling the narrative. Musk remained motionless at the defendant's table, his gaze sweeping across the room, spectators, reporters, security officers, like a strategist analyzing pieces on a board. Then he smirked, took a step forward, and spoke loud enough for all to hear. "If you want me to comply, I will, but not for you. Only to watch you fall." His words struck like a spark in dry wood, igniting the crowd. A few clapped, others shouted in agreement. Evelyn's face flushed red as she slammed her gavel repeatedly. "Silence," she commanded, but the noise only escalated. Musk raised a hand, and instantly the room quieted, his supporters obeying him like a disciplined force. He turned to Evelyn, his voice calm yet commanding. "I request to represent myself, Your Honor. No lawyers, no interference. I know the truth better than anyone here." Evelyn frowned, stealing a glance at the tense prosecutor beside her. Letting Musk speak was a dangerous gamble, but refusing would make her appear weak in the public eye. She exhaled sharply. "Fine," she growled, "but don't turn this courtroom into a spectacle." Musk smirked, stepping forward as if addressing a global audience. Today, I stand accused over SpaceX for daring to launch rockets, for daring to build a future. Some want to strangle progress, but who is really behind this? He paused, then turned sharply, pointing directly at Evelyn. Not the government, not the people. No, the ones paying off this judge right here. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Evelyn. Hart took bribes from my rivals. Blue Origin, Tesla competitors. Anyone who wants me to fail. He spread his arms. I don't have the proof in my hands, yet. But I think we all know what's going on. The courtroom exploded. Spectators shouted, one voice rising above the rest. Expose her, Elon. Reporters typed furiously. Cameras zooming in on Evelyn's face as her flushed complexion paled. She gritted her teeth and slammed her gavel so hard it silenced the crowd for a moment. Enough, Mr. Musk. You will not slander me in this courtroom. But her voice wavered and everyone noticed. She was losing control. Musk stepped closer, locking eyes with her. Slander? Or truth you fear? He tilted his head slightly. I told my team to dig. They're searching. And so is the public. You can't hide forever. Evelyn clenched her fists, struggling to maintain composure. You have no evidence, Mr. Musk. This is a courtroom, not X. A murmur spread through the audience, growing into a wave of whispers. Then, a reporter stood abruptly, holding up a phone. Your Honor, breaking news. Documents about your bank transactions are spreading on X. Evelyn's head snapped toward him, eyes widening. What? She hissed, but the room was already shifting. Phones were raised everywhere, screens glowing with leaked transaction screenshots. Outside, the crowd's roar intensified. Musk simply shrugged, his voice thick with sarcasm. I told you, the truth finds its way. You can lock me up, but you can't lock it down. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Musk leaned back, arms still crossed, his smirk unwavering. His gaze locked onto James Carter, scanning him like an algorithm processing data. The prosecutor stepped forward, exuding the confidence of someone convinced they were about to deal the final blow. Mr. Carter, you worked at SpaceX for 6 years. Correct? James nodded, gripping the stand. That's correct. And you were part of high-level financial operations? James hesitated, then nodded again. Yes. The prosecutor's lips curled into a knowing smile. Tell the court. During your time at SpaceX, did you witness any financial misconduct? Any illegal transactions? A pause. The room held its breath. James exhaled slowly. Yes, I did. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Cameras zoomed in. Evelyn's grip on her gavel tightened, her expression carefully neutral. Musk remained motionless, but his eyes sharpened. Can you specify what you saw? The prosecutor pressed. James swallowed hard. There were funds being moved through accounts that didn't match standard SpaceX records. Large amounts, hidden under development expenses. Evelyn's eyes flickered with triumph. The prosecutor turned to the jury, pacing dramatically. Hidden funds, off-the-record transactions. And where did these funds go, Mr. Carter? James hesitated longer this time. His fingers tapped against the wooden railing of the stand. I believe they were redirected to Musk's personal projects, not SpaceX's. His. The courtroom erupted again. Shouts, whispers, reporters typing furiously. Evelyn's lips pressed into a thin line, suppressing a victorious smile. Order. Order. She slammed her gavel, barely containing her satisfaction. The prosecutor turned. Back to Musk, his tone triumphant. Mr. Musk, care to respond? Silence stretched. Musk finally leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table, his smirk now a full-fledged grin. He exhaled through his nose like he was almost amused. So that's your big play? He mused. You bring in a guy who believes money was redirected? No proof, just belief? James stiffened. The prosecutor opened his mouth, but Musk raised a hand. You all hear that? Musk turned to the jury, then to the crowd. He didn't say he knows, he said he believes. That's not evidence. That's a feeling. A murmur of agreement rippled through the audience. Musk sat back. shaking his head. I don't run on feelings, I run on facts, so where's your proof, James? James shifted uncomfortably. I didn't have full access to all the records. Musk chuckled. Exactly. The tension in the room shifted. The prosecutor, sensing control slipping, tried to interject. Regardless, Mr. Musk. But Musk wasn't done. You know who did have access to full records? He tilted his head toward the back of the room, Sarah Clean. She stiffened in her seat, gripping her tablet. The room turned to her. Musk's eyes twinkled. Sarah, you worked on SpaceX financial security. You tracked funds. Ever see any of these? So-called illegal transactions? Sarah swallowed hard. She glanced at Evelyn, at the prosecutor, at James Carter. Then she turned back to Musk and shook her head. No. A shockwave rolled through the courtroom. The prosecutor's face fell. Evelyn's jaw clenched. The audience murmured. Musk grinned wider. Well then. What now, Your Honor? Evelyn's grip on her gavel was so tight her knuckles turned white. The game had shifted again. The prosecutor pressed forward. Mr. Carter, how long were you employed at SpaceX? James cleared his throat, his voice slightly unsteady but firm. 3 years, working on the Falcon rocket development team. The prosecutor nodded, leaning in. Can you confirm any details about the environmental violation SpaceX is accused of? James cast a fleeting glance at Evelyn before answering. I witnessed Mr. Musk instruct us to disregard safety regulations. He warned that anyone who reported it would be fired, stating that those who obstruct progress would be removed. I have proof, emails directly from him. The courtroom erupted, some spectators jeering, others shouting, while reporters furiously typed. Cameras zoomed in on Musk, but he remained unfazed, tilting his head as if analyzing James like a system glitch. Evelyn slammed her gavel. Order in the court! The noise dwindled, though tension remained thick. The prosecutor held up a stack of documents. These are emails from Mr. Musk to Mr. Carter, proving he was aware of violations yet chose to conceal them. We request an immediate review of this evidence. A quiet chuckle escaped Musk, not loud but distinct enough to resonate through the courtroom, drawing Evelyn's sharp glare. Mr. Musk, do you find this amusing? She snapped. Musk rose unprompted, his voice low and cutting. Amusing? No, ridiculous, absolutely. James Carter, I remember him. An engineer dismissed after failing 3 engine tests. He never received emails from me because I don't waste time on incompetence. He turned to the audience, adding, and if I had truly threatened him, he wouldn't be standing here now. The courtroom erupted once more, some clapping, others shouting their objections. Evelyn pounded her gavel harder, her face growing flushed. Mr. Musk, you will not interrupt the witness. Sit down. But Musk didn't move. Instead, he stepped toward the witness stand, eyes locked onto James. Tell the truth, James. Who paid you to be here, Hart or Victor Grayson? I'd bet they promised you a generous sum to fabricate this story. James recoiled slightly, blinking rapidly. I'm not lying. This is the truth. The prosecutor interjected. Your Honor, we request that Mr. Musk stop intimidating the witness. Evelyn nodded, her voice firm. Mr. Musk, this is your final warning. Sit down, or you will be detained. With a shrug, Musk returned to his seat but murmured, the truth doesn't need me to stand, but it will bring him down. He folded his arms, eyes still locked onto James, waiting for his next misstep. Meanwhile, outside the courtroom, news of the witness testimony spread rapidly across X. Posts denouncing Musk exploded online. Musk threatened employees to cover violations, but his supporters fought back just as fiercely. James Carter is lying. Musk would never. Hackers, self-proclaimed truth diggers, issued a cryptic statement. We're analyzing the emails. If they're forged, Hart is paying for the media smear. Inside a holding cell, Sarah Clean had left the courtroom to check an urgent update. From SpaceX techs, through a secure call, she received confirmation. Bank transactions were now 90% verified, linking directly to a shell company tied to Grayson. But Carter's emails? The metadata showed signs of tampering. She tightened her grip on the phone, whispering into her earpiece to Jake. "Heart's playing dirty. This witness is a fraud." Jake leaned in, voice low. "I bet Musk knows." "He does," Jake replied. "But we need solid proof before the public starts believing Hart's narrative." Back in the courtroom, Evelyn regained her composure, a faint smile forming as Musk remained seated. She turned to the prosecutor. "Continue. I want to hear everything Mr. Carter has to say." James took a deep breath, his voice more stable after Musk's challenge. "I kept the emails as evidence. Musk wanted me to be silent so SpaceX could continue launches, ignoring environmental concerns." The prosecutor nodded, raising the documents. "This evidence confirms that Mr. Musk not only broke regulations, but deliberately concealed violations. We request the court to consider obstruction of justice charges," the audience murmured, some appearing uncertain. A few whispered, "Is this true?" Musk remained motionless, lightly tapping the table, his expression unreadable. Evelyn turned to him, her tone victorious. "Mr. Musk, do you have anything to say?" Musk lifted his head with a slight smile. "Just one thing. The truth doesn't need fabricated emails to prevail. Just wait and see." He turned to the audience. "Who believes me? Raise your hand." Dozens of hands shot up, applause following, though not as forceful as before. Evelyn smirked, sensing she had regained control. She tapped her gavel. "Court is in recess while we review the new evidence. Mr. Musk, I suggest you choose your words carefully moving forward." She stood and left the bench, but Musk's gaze remained fixed on her, unwavering. The trial was on pause, but outside, the real battle had just begun. The crowd outside had doubled, turning the streets into a wave of support. Banners waved with slogans like "Truth for Musk" and "Expose Hart." Megaphones amplified voices chanting, "We won't let them silence Elon." Live streaming phones captured every moment, the glow of their screens merging with the echoes of the protesters' voices. A group of SpaceX engineers stood among the crowd, their uniforms making them stand out. They held signs that read, "Musk builds the future. Hart destroys it." Online, the reaction was immediate. Carter's accusations became the center of a digital storm, but this time, it wasn't just talk. Minutes after James Carter left the witness stand, the Truth Diggers, a group of independent analysts, released a bombshell. A post surfaced on X, displaying screenshots and technical analysis. "Carter's emails are fake," the caption read. "Metadata confirms they were generated on a non-SpaceX server linked to Victor Grayson." It spread like wildfire, amassing tens of thousands of shares in under 15 minutes. Comments flooded in. "Hart hired a fraud. Who is Victor Grayson? Expose him." Fake witness skyrocketed to the top of trending topics, overtaking Taish, "Expose Hart," and shifting public sentiment. Outside, the momentum surged. A fervent supporter set up a massive screen, replaying Musk's courtroom moment. "The truth doesn't need fake emails to win." As the clip ended, the supporter grabbed a microphone and shouted, "They think we're blind. Carter is Hart's puppet. We have proof." The crowd roared, their cheers drowning out the noise of the city. Among them, a Tesla engineer stepped forward, his voice resolute. "I've worked with Musk for 7 years. He doesn't make threats. If you underperform, you're fired on the spot." "Carter is lying." Applause erupted as media crews rushed in, cameras sweeping across the crowd's intense expressions. In a makeshift office near the courthouse, Sarah Klein typed furiously on her laptop. A message from SpaceX appeared. "Carter's emails are tampered with. Timestamp doesn't match internal records. Hart's bank transaction is 95% verified, linked to Grayson's shell company." Slamming the table, Sarah yelled into her earpiece, "We've got it. Carter's a fraud. Hart and Grayson orchestrated everything." Jake responded urgently, "Courts won't accept hacker leaks as evidence. We need official documentation." Sarah nodded, quickly messaging her contact. "Final verification needed. Official documents within 12 hours. On X, the online community continued its relentless efforts. A major account posted a breakdown video, Look at Carter's email. Wrong font, incorrect format, inconsistent with SpaceX systems. The post gained hundreds of thousands of views. Comments flooded in. Hearts. Finished. Another user shared a photo of James Carter and Victor Grayson at an event months earlier, captioned, "Neutral witness? Think again." Public opinion swiftly turned against Evelyn Hart. Outside the courthouse, media outlets scrambled to report. EXC community alleges fake witness. Is Judge Hart involved? Inside her chambers, Evelyn Hart sat slumped in her chair, head cradled in her hands. Her tablet screen flickered with an endless stream of X notifications, each one chipping away at her credibility. Nearby, Victor Grayson's expression darkened. "I told you to control this," he said, pointing to the window where the crowd's chants grew louder. "Now the world believes we're lying." Evelyn's red-rimmed eyes met his. "I don't know how he does it. He's locked up, yet everything still moves in his favor." Victor gritted his teeth. "He has people, hackers, teams, and that relentless crowd. We need a stronger counterattack or we withdraw." Shaking her head, Evelyn's voice wavered. "Withdraw? No, I've come too far. Call the prosecutor, push for new charges. I want Musk held longer, before that crowd turns everything upside down." Victor hesitated. "Are you sure? If this fails, you don't just lose the bench, you lose everything." Her glare was cold. "I'm not losing to a smug billionaire. Do it." Victor gave a stiff nod and exited, but uncertainty clouded his expression. Outside, the crowd intensified. Large screens replayed Musk's courtroom statement. "The truth doesn't need fake emails to win." A voice shouted over a microphone. "They think we're fools. Carter's just a puppet for Hart. We have the proof." The crowd roared in response. At the courthouse gates, tensions rose as a small group hurled water bottles, prompting security to intervene. The media frenzy escalated, reporters interviewing protesters. "What do you think of Carter?" one asked. A fan scoffed. "He's a liar. Musk doesn't need to threaten. He's too smart for that." From her office window, Sarah observed the swelling crowd. Turning to Jake, she said, "The EXC community is handling public perception, but without concrete legal proof, Hart can still turn this around. Musk trusts them, but the courts don't." Jake nodded. "I checked with our hackers. The Hart-Grayson chats are nearly decrypted. If they're legit, this is a double knockout." Sarah smirked. "Good. Musk set the stage. Now we finish it." In his cell, Musk sat motionless, tapping his thigh in a steady rhythm. A guard entered, voice flat. "Trials. Obsessed. You'll be here for a few more hours," Musk smirked. "Fine, I like the quiet. Give me time to think." The door shut, but his mind raced ahead of everyone else's. Musk muttered under his breath. "They bring a fake witness? Naive. My community will tear this apart." He closed his eyes, not to rest, but to strategize his next move. Outside, a truck pulled up, blasting Musk's voice from an old interview over its speakers. "Truth is the only thing worth fighting for." The crowd roared, their cheers echoing like a manifesto. On X, Truth Diggers posted an update. Chat 70% decrypted. Hart and Grayson are about to be exposed. Get ready. Public sentiment swung hard in Musk's favor, the pressure mounting on Evelyn like a crushing weight. In her chambers, Evelyn stood at the window, peering through the blinds, hands trembling. Inside the courtroom, cameras flashed as the trial resumed. Spectators filled the room, tension thick in the air. The chants of "Truth for Musk" still reverberated through the courthouse glass, blending with live-stream megaphones from the surging crowd. Elon Musk walked in, no longer in handcuffs, his expression cold and composed, like a commander returning to battle. Dressed in his signature black suit, his sharp gaze swept across the room, from the audience to the reporters, finally locking on to Evelyn Hart. She sat stiffly at the bench, hands clenched around the gavel, forcing an air of authority. Today, everything was at stake. "We proceed," Evelyn announced, her tone rigid, her eyes locked onto Musk. "I hope you've given careful thought to your last accusation." Musk smirked, standing with a quiet but firm voice. "I don't." Need time to think. The truth is clear, and today you'll see it. A murmur spread through the crowd. Cameras pivoted, capturing the moment. Evelyn slammed her gavel. Order! I won't allow more theatrics. But Musk didn't sit. Instead, he raised a hand toward Sarah Klein, who had just entered, carrying a laptop and a thick file. She placed them on the defense table, opening the screen. Her voice was steady. Your Honor, we have new evidence, not speculation, not leaked data. These are verified documents from SpaceX techs. We request to present them now. Evelyn hesitated, glancing at the prosecutor beside her, who had gone visibly pale. She knew rejecting the request would make her look weak, but accepting it was even riskier. Fine, she said coldly. But if this is another trick, Mr. Musk will pay dearly. Musk smiled slightly, stepping toward the large screen his team had set up in the courtroom. He pressed play. A voice filled the room. Clear, undeniable. Evelyn Hart's own words. Victor, I need Musk out of this. 2 million should be enough to silence whoever is necessary, right? Then Victor Grayson's voice followed. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Carter will say whatever we need him to. The courtroom fell into dead silence. Spectators froze. Reporters stopped typing. Cameras zoomed in on Evelyn. Her face had gone ghostly white. The audio continued. Just keep Musk locked up as long as possible. I'll handle the rest. Musk cut the screen and turned to Evelyn, his voice steady but firm. Justice doesn't need you to stand, Your Honor. It needs the truth. And here it is. The courtroom erupted. Spectators shouted, Hart is corrupt. Musk was right. Some jumped up, recording on their phones, while reporters typed frantically. Evelyn slammed her gavel repeatedly. Her face flushed. Silence, this is fabricated, Mr. Musk. How dare you bring this in here? But her voice wavered and the audience didn't heed her. They were chanting Musk's name. Musk stepped closer to the bench, eyes locked onto Evelyn. Fabricated. My tech. Team verified it. This came straight from Victor Grayson's server, not SpaceX. Want to check? Be my guest, but I doubt you will. He turned to the audience. Who here wants Hart investigated right now? Hundreds of hands shot up. Applause roared through the room. Evelyn shrank back in her chair, her hands trembling so violently that she dropped the gavel. It clattered loudly against the bench, swallowed by the uproar. Sarah stepped forward, raising a file. Your Honor, these are bank records. $2 million, wired from Grayson's shell company to Hart's account, right when she took this case. We have the full transaction history. She can't deny it. The prosecutor scrambled to respond. Your Honor, we need time to verify. But the audience drowned him out with boos. No verification needed. She's done, Evelyn gasped, her eyes darting. Crossed the room like a trapped animal. She shrieked, This is slander. I never took money from anyone. Her words were lost beneath the crowd's chants. Liar, a reporter shot up, waving a phone. Your Honor, a chat between you and Grayson just leaked, cracked 5 minutes ago. The screen glowed with damning text. Musk must be silenced at any cost. The courtroom exploded again. Spectators rose to their feet, voices ricocheting off the walls. Musk remained still, arms crossed, watching Evelyn unravel before him. His voice cut through the chaos. I said from the start, the truth would find you. You hired James Carter, you took money from Grayson, and you tried to lock me up to cover it all. But you forgot one thing. I don't fight alone. He gestured toward the window where the crowd outside roared his name. They're my team, and they don't forgive corruption. The courtroom doors burst open. Senior Judge Robert Vance strode, his expression firm. Security officers followed, a warrant in hand. Vance's voice thundered across the room. Judge Hart, based on the evidence presented, I am ordering your immediate suspension pending investigation. Mr. Musk, you are released. The SpaceX case will proceed with a new judge. The courtroom erupted one final time. Applause, cheers. Musk won! Evelyn stood frozen, her hands shaking as she stared at Vance in disbelief. She stammered, This is a mistake. I didn't. Security officers stepped forward, escorting her from the bench. She twisted back, her glare burning into Musk. You'll pay for this. Musk shrugged, his voice laced with sarcasm. Go ahead and try. I've survived worse than you. She was led away, her heels clacking against the floor, drowned by the triumphant cheers of the crowd. Sarah stood beside Musk, exhaling deeply. We did it, but the SpaceX case isn't over. Musk smirked. I'm not concerned. They won't touch me. He turned to the audience, raising a hand. Thank you all. The truth is ours. Applause thundered through the room as cameras panned, capturing the victorious moment. Outside, the crowd erupted as the news spread. Giant screens flashed. Heart suspended, Musk freed. Fans cheered while loudspeakers echoed Musk's voice from X. The system is broken and we fix it online. Truth diggers posted their final update. Hart's downfall is complete. Grayson is next. Public opinion shifted instantly. Musk hadn't just escaped. He had turned Evelyn Hart into the face of corruption. The courthouse doors swung open and Elon Musk stepped into the blinding sunlight. The massive crowd outside roared in celebration. Thousands waved signs reading "Musk is free" and "Truth wins." Megaphones blared across the streets, merging with relentless applause. International media swarmed the scene, cameras flashing like fireworks. Musk raised a hand, not in arrogant triumph but with the sharp, calculated gaze of a strategist who had just executed the perfect move. Inside, Evelyn Hart had been escorted away, her judge's seat now vacant, a symbol of her defeat. Sarah Klein followed closely behind Musk, clutching her laptop and files, her face a mixture of relief and unease. Speaking into her earpiece, she whispered to Jake, Hart is finished, but SpaceX is still in jeopardy. We're not in the clear yet. Jake's response was calm. Musk isn't worried. He's already spun this into a victory. Just look at that crowd. Sarah glanced back at the sea of people. Live streams broadcasting in real time. Giant screens replaying Evelyn's recording. Her voice, once authoritative, now sounded like a final confession. On X, Musk victorious shot to the top of global trends, generating millions of posts. Headlines exploded across news outlets. Elon Musk topples corrupt judge, a historic courtroom victory, CNN. Musk turns trial into public theater, justice or spectacle. BBC EXC community saves Musk, the power of social media, TechCrunch. But not everyone was celebrating. Some outlets took a harsher stance. Musk manipulates public opinion, an arrogant lawbreaker. Fox News. A commentator added, he may have won today, but SpaceX is still on the hook. This isn't over. Public reaction was split. Supporters hailed Musk as a revolutionary, while critics called him a dangerous force. Hours after the trial, Musk posted on X, the system is broken, and I will fix it, step by step. Thank you to those who stand for the truth. The post garnered millions of likes. The top comment read, Elon, you're a legend. Don't stop. Take them all down. Truth diggers responded with a simple message. Onward. Hart's just the beginning. Grayson. Next, we're already digging. Fans celebrated in the streets. Cars honked wildly, and some even set off fireworks in broad daylight. But in the shadows, not everyone was rejoicing. In a private office in another city, Victor Grayson sat at his desk, gripping a glass of whiskey. His face was tense as his phone lit up with a message. Heart suspended. As he read, he typed back quickly, not yet, but she's weakened. If Musk comes for me, we strike first. He stood by the window staring out. He thinks he's won. This is just round one. Elsewhere, a small anti-Musk group gathered on a street corner holding signs. Justice for Hart, and Musk isn't innocent. Though they were outnumbered, their presence signaled that the fight wasn't over. Meanwhile, Sarah and the legal team regrouped at their temporary headquarters, planning their next move. She set her laptop down and spoke in a measured tone. Hart's out, but SpaceX is still in jeopardy. The new judge won't be easy on us. We need to prepare. Jake nodded. Musk doesn't care. He's already won over the public. But I agree. Legally, we need to be airtight. A SpaceX engineer joined via video call. We have data proving the launches weren't as bad as claimed. I'm sending it now. Sarah's lips curled into a slight smile. Good. If we win this too, Musk becomes untouchable. On X, reactions continued to pour in from around the world. A European user posted, Musk's a symbol of freedom. Corrupt systems. Everywhere need this lesson. From Asia, he turned court into an action movie. Hollywood needs to make this a film. But skeptics pushed back. Musk used money and fan influence to escape justice. Where's the accountability? A German journalist published a long-form analysis. Elon Musk didn't just defeat Hart. He changed how we perceive the legal system. This is the era of public power. Legal battle analysis videos racked up millions of views. One viral comment summed it up. Musk played chess while Hart played checkers. Outside the courthouse, Musk stood surrounded by reporters and supporters. A journalist pushed a microphone toward him. Mr. Musk, what do you make of today's outcome? He paused, locking eyes with the camera. I don't see this as a win. I see it as the first step. The system has been broken for too long, and I won't stop until it's fixed. SpaceX, Tesla, X, this isn't about me. It's about the future. Applause erupted, but he lifted a hand, signaling for quiet. And to those of you on X out there, you're the real power. The crowd roared again as cameras captured every second. Meanwhile, in a sealed interrogation room, Evelyn Hart sat with her hands cuffed behind her. Her face was pale, eyes hollow. Across the table, an investigator slid a stack of files toward her. The recordings and financial records say otherwise. Ready to come clean? Evelyn lowered her head, silent. She had lost, not just her bench, but her reputation. Outside, the news broke. Evelyn Hart faces corruption charges, could serve decades. On X, truth diggers posted their final update. Hart is down, Grayson is on the run, we'll find him. Attached was a photo. Victor Grayson, fleeing the city by car. Speculation spread instantly. Is he next? The mastermind. Musk smirked as he posted. On Reddit. No running from the truth, it moves faster than anyone. The tweet exploded online, solidifying his stance. He climbed into his Tesla, the window rolling down slowly. A fan shouted, "What's next?" He smirked, his voice cutting through the noise. Build the future and crush anything in the way. The Tesla moved through the crowd, cheers fading but still echoing like a victory anthem. He sat back, his gaze fixed through the window, not on the people, but beyond them, as if seeing a future only he could envision. Before the car vanished, he turned, locking eyes with a nearby reporter's camera. This isn't my win, it's the truth's win. But we're not done yet. His words ignited one last eruption from the crowd. Elon, they chanted, voices thundering. He smirked again. The window slid shut. The car disappeared around the corner. In a dimly lit interrogation room, Evelyn Hart sat across from an investigator. Shadows flickered across her gaunt face. She had remained silent through the questioning. As the investigator stood to leave, her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen. Cryptic message. Hun's not free yet, we'll be back, her fists clenched. A flash of hatred sparked in her eyes. Suspended. Disgraced. But not defeated, she whispered to herself. Musk will pay. Not today. But soon. The door shut, leaving her in darkness. But a seed had been planted. On X, the online buzz continued. Fans posted pictures of Musk leaving the courtroom, captions declaring, undefeated legend. Truth diggers updated. Grayson's gone, but we're hunting. Got tips? DM us. One user commented, this is just the beginning. Musk won't stop. But critics pushed back. He won with the mob, not with justice. Next time will be different. Global. Media remained divided. Hero or manipulator? The SpaceX case still lingered. Victor Grayson remained in hiding, and one question loomed. Was this really the end? At their temporary office, Sarah Klein stood by the window watching as the once massive crowd thinned. She turned to Jake. Musk turned this into a symbol, but Grayson is still a threat. We need to be prepared. Jake nodded. Hune isn't afraid. But we have to keep everything airtight legally. Sarah's phone lit up, a message from the tech team. SpaceX data is ready. We can win the next round. She exhaled, a small smile forming. Good. The game's not over. Elon Musk's defiance against a corrupt judge resonates with the power struggles of modern society. The story mirrors contemporary America, polarized opinions, the influence of social media, and the battle between individuals and powerful systems. Musk's fight against Evelyn Hart, a symbol of authority wielded for self-interest, reflects a familiar theme. Americans have seen this in political and legal scandals, from Watergate to recent corruption cases. By using X and his massive following, Musk didn't just challenge the system, he reshaped the narrative. His strategy highlights social media's growing role in justice and public opinion, much like movements amplified on Twitter or TikTok, from Black Lives Matter to post-election protests. The chaos outside the courthouse, live streaming crowds, hackers exposing secrets, mirrors today's reality. The public is no longer passive, they engage, they question. But with that power comes division and disorder. In a world riddled with corruption and misinformation, truth isn't just found, it must be fought for. But winning requires more than passion. It takes strategy. Musk didn't rely solely on lawyers, like Sarah. He mobilized his online base, a tactic relevant to anyone challenging authority today. But facts mattered too. Without the leaked recordings, his case would have been just noise. His final words on X echoed a message for the digital. His truth only wins if you dare to seek and defend it. A lesson for a world where anyone can shift the narrative. But without careful strategy, they risk being drowned out. Want to keep following Musk's battle against the system? Curious about the truth behind figures like Grayson? Hit subscribe now. Thanks for joining us. See you in the next video.